Welcome everyone. Here are the top 10 reasons that the crypto market has crashed. Number 1, Bakkt. So many hopes and aspirations were riding on the launch of Bakkt's futures to save us all from the crypto apocalypse. And then it was delayed. Only for a month though, not really a big deal, but the big sell-off happened a few days before the announcement was made, leading some to speculate that insiders with knowledge of the coming announcement traded accordingly. This theory though doesn't hold a lot of weight with me because Bakkt delaying is not actually bad news. They are delaying because there is too much demand for their service and they want to ensure that they will be able to scale to meet that demand. Although when it comes to financial products, the continued delay of the regulation around the Bitcoin ETF has indeed weighed very heavily on many crypto investors. Number 2, and this is a tinfoil hat one for you, the forces that back XRP are slowly manipulating the price of Bitcoin ever downward and the price of XRP ever upward in order to make what I am now calling the rippening. That, of course, being where XRP overtakes Bitcoin in market cap. Banker's delight. Okay, but seriously, if all of Ripple's partners ever actually use XRP for transactions, then XRP will explode, whether you love it or hate it. It is not going to replace the need for Bitcoin, but could become massive in its own right. Number 3, Bitcoin Cash. God, am I really still mentioning this dumpster fire? Yeah, okay, the hash war is still continuing with both sides burning huge amounts of cash daily to try and be the winner of the ego war. Whose ego will be bigger? Who cares? But the investor confidence effect this can have on the overall market should not be underestimated. And in addition to the childish drama, it must be kept in mind that the very real potential of Bitmain, Roger, Calvinaire, and fake Toshi to be dumping Bitcoin to prop up their battle only creates more price woes for investors. Number 4, Bitcoin miners are pulling the plug. The break-even price for many miners globally will now be far removed from their daily mining earnings. Smaller operations are shutting shop, bankruptcies are being declared, and creditors are being left holding the bags. Home miners are definitely cut out here as well unless they have free power. While some companies may just be turning off the machines temporarily, while waiting for the market to turn around, the old saying goes that the market can remain irrational a lot longer than you can remain solvent. Add to this that the new generation of miners on offer from these major companies are not actually profitable, and we will see a real reshuffling of the Bitcoin network over the coming months if price does not substantially turn around. Only the biggest players like Bitmain, Canaan, GMO, and Bitfury will be able to run at a loss for a sustained period of time. Number 5, the SEC has been up to their same old shenanigans, this time doing 2 particular things that have sent shockwaves through the crypto industry. The first, fining EtherDelta founder for running an unregistered securities exchange. The second, fining Paragon and AirToken for selling unregistered securities. Now that sounds bad on the face of it, but the key thing to realize here is that the SEC just wants everyone to play by the rules and to respect their authority. This is far from being an Armageddon-like scenario. In fact, if you like regulation, then this is actually a good thing and will bring more transparency and seriousness to an industry plagued by shady business deals. The end of the Wild West crypto days might in fact result in much more serious offerings taking place and increased investor confidence. But these new offerings will likely only be for sophisticated investors. Number 6, Wall Street. And no, I am not talking about Jamie Dimon secretly working with the evil dark powers of the world to undermine the crypto economy. I mean, that might be happening, but more directly, the stock markets are crashing, and as much as we as a community may be rooting for the downfall of the predatory central bank run financial order, the general downturn in the stock markets has proven that crypto is far from being unbeholden to the overall sentiment of the financial industry. While so many sit and patiently wait for Wall Street to come and save the crypto markets, it is unlikely to happen while the wider markets are on the ropes. Number 7, the end of the hype machine. Pessimism in the market has reached new lows, right in line with the price, unsurprisingly, and hype moves markets, but we don't have it right now. These speculators have been the real drivers of price, which is kind of cool, but speculators speculate, which involves some crazy up and down action. And the speculators are largely day trippers. They're here for the good times and gone in the bad times. Those speculators will not flood in again until we have some hype built up again. And this all has a compounding effect. Fewer speculators mean lower prices, which means lower confidence, and even lower prices, only increasing pessimism in the markets, and of course, driving the speculators further away. This is temporary, of course, and we only need a few key moments of growth and catalysts in order to bring these day trippers back in, because they have not disappeared, but are waiting on the sidelines. Number 8, the end of the ICO boom. The height of the ICO market was a fun time, wasn't it? Massive gains were happening everywhere. Everyone was getting hilariously rich. But the good times for ICOs have come to a rather abrupt end. Many ICOs are total startups which rely on the income from the sale to exist. Many of these companies were not fiscally responsible and did not move into fiat in order to avoid loss of operating capital to pay their developers, partners, advertising, energy bills, etc. Startups have a huge failure rate. Crypto is no exception. It did the overall crypto economy no favors that many ICOs were little more than white papers, followed by strings of changing terms and broken promises. However, there are still many post-ICO companies which launched during the bear market, which are out there developing awesome technology and a real base of users and real use cases. There are still companies from before the bear market that have not gone away and are still here developing their technology, or even better, launching their products. And yes, there are still ICOs happening that have serious teams, real technology, big investors, and offer interesting incentives to investors. But they are fewer and farther between than before, as some ICOs are actually preferring to delay their sales until markets improve. The promise of blockchain and lack of real adoption. We are still lacking in a real global user base, and the promise of blockchain to revolutionize the world is still a few years away. We have so many pilot programs, we have so many partnerships, so many startups addressing real global issues, but we don't have critical mass. The use cases are massive. They truly are. International transfers, supply chain management, land registry, voting, security tokens, energy trading, gaming, etc., etc., etc. And the technology is progressing and improving all the time. But there is no one industry that has been totally revolutionized by the blockchain yet. We need killer dApps. But there is the question of resistance, regulatory uncertainty, and of course convincing companies that they are better off using blockchain and cryptocurrencies. This is no easy task, and in spite of our wishes, this will not happen overnight. The focus on price only clouds the wider mission of revolutionizing our society with new technological tools. Number 10, technical indicators. Okay, I know some of you are rolling your eyes already, but a lot of traders are putting a lot of importance on these factors, and they play the game based on support levels. $6,000 was a key level for many traders. And when this broke, it was like opening the floodgates, and lines had to be redrawn. Orders moved to new levels, and then the whole dynamic changes. This effect should not be underestimated. And as a bonus round for you, the Rothschilds, the Illuminati, the Queen of England, Obama, the Bogdanovs, and maybe the butterfly effect. Okay, jokes, guys, but at least we can look forward to the Christmas bump, the Kwanzaa bump, the Hanukkah bump, the Chinese New Year bump, the banker yearly bonus bump, and maybe the consensus conference bump to save us, right? All of this and more are possible. Likely we will either never know exactly or only find out sometime much later what was actually responsible for this crash. Things always seem so obvious in hindsight, but the reality is that the critical real-world information that we need to know is often unknown to average investors, and the exact mechanisms of the market which link price to news are a mystery. While fundamentals, technicals, and news all play a role, the real element is the human factor. How do investors react? What biases, fears, and greed are representing themselves in a financial language that we interpret as price? The market is made up of many moving parts, and some or all of these reasons I have mentioned here play a part. But the key thing to remember is that all of this is temporary. The forces weighing on the market will not last forever. There is so much being built up around this industry. Fidelity, Backed, increasing penetration of exchanges into new markets, blockchains developing real use cases, pilot projects the world over, custody services, increasingly user-friendly services, easier onboarding for customers, etc., etc., etc. Play the long game here, guys. Crypto isn't going anywhere. Which of these issues do you find to be the most compelling? Or did I miss something really important in my top 10 list? Let me know about it down below in the comment section. Also, it would really make my day if you could validate my existence by leaving a like on this video or subscribing to the channel. Also, awesomeness results in those who hit the bell to stay up to date with what's happening in crypto. Join the conversation over on Twitter. Long live the blockchain, and peace out till next time.